What did Mario do? What did he accomplish? What company does he belong to? Are all questions that the average Nintendo fan may ask if you don't know already, and in this video I'm going to be getting into the evolution of Mario, from NES all the way to the Switch. Let's go. So to start, Mario was created and was founded basically by Shigeru Miyamoto, who is now the president of Nintendo after the old president passed away a few years ago. And Shigeru Miyamoto basically started off by calling Mario Jumpman, and he had a much different form than he did in the NES, although it was pretty similar. And basically, Jumpman was the protagonist and is now known as Mario, obviously, but he was the protagonist in the Donkey Kong game back on the NES, I believe. But we're not going to be covering Donkey Kong in this video, which is where Jumpman or Mario originally originated. Instead, we're going to start at the NES Super Mario Bros., which was probably where Mario got his most fame and was most widely recognized around the world, and where he started to earn his iconicness, if you will. So the first Mario game in the series, as you see me playing on screen, was Super Mario Bros., and it released on the NES some year in the 1980s, and this game was absolutely phenomenal. My parents played it, and they love it to this day. It's just so iconic with the Mario theme playing, the do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and the Mario character, and you can even play two-player, and there were all sorts of fun things to do in this game. It was absolutely amazing, and yeah. This game was obviously in 8-bit, and with the next console, it would get greatly upscaled, but yeah, basically this was an 8-bit game and came out on the NES, so yeah. Next game on the list with Mario featured is Super Mario Bros. 2 for the Nintendo NES. This game was released in 1988, and this game was another great entry into the Mario series. Basically, it was the same bits, and you had to go through levels just like the other Mario games, or the previous Mario game at least, and you had to defeat your quests, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, here's some footage of me playing it on the screen. And also, it's important to note that in this game, instead of just Mario and Luigi, you could pick from 4 characters: Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. So that was a very notable change, and there were also a lot of new enemies and new textures and many new things about this game. Next game is Super Mario Bros. 3. So basically, Super Mario Bros. 3 was again released on the NES, so 3 Mario titles on the NES, and if you want to include the first Donkey Kong Mario game, then that's 4. But basically, this Mario Bros. 3 game introduced double the worlds almost, and in addition, there were many more enemies that were added to the game, and we also learned about Bowser's 7 Koopalings, which are still featured in the Mario games today, including Mario Wonder. Next game on the list is Super Mario Land, which released on the Nintendo Game Boy, which was the first, well, kind of the first Nintendo portable console. And Super Mario Land was your traditional Mario game, except basically this time Mario must save Princess Daisy rather than Princess Toadstool or Princess Peach from her kidnapper Tatinga, a mysterious spaceman. So this was basically your daily dose of Mario, but portable, and it was pretty short and sweet. You could probably complete it in about 30 minutes, pretty sure. But yeah, this was a very fun Mario game. The next game on the list is Super Mario World. Super Mario World released on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or the SNES, and this game had a lot of notable changes. It was much bigger, it was much longer, all the worlds were much longer, and this game was packed with new stuff. And pretty much, as I've been saying, the most notable change with the new console, since the new console had a lot more power, was that the levels were longer and the whole world just had more levels and everything was just bigger. And this game was absolutely amazing. And basically, the story for Super Mario World, was after bringing peace to the Mushroom World in Super Mario Bros. 3, the brothers Mario and Luigi decide to go on a vacation with Princess Toadstool to a place called Dinosaur Land, which was basically just a prehistoric place filled with all new enemies and dinosaurs. The next game on the list is the sequel to Super Mario Land on the Game Boy. This game was called Super Mario Land 2, the 6 Golden Coins. I'm not going to go super into detail on this one because it's pretty much just the sequel, and it was also on the Game Boy Color because that was out at this time. And this is just basically the sequel to Super Mario Land 2. Not too much was different, just a bunch of new levels, and the gameplay was pretty similar. The next game on the list is Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, which was released on the SNES and the Game Boy Advance much later. This game came with a lot of notable changes, some of which were graphics changes yet again, and more level changes such as Donut Plains 2, Donut Secret House, Vanilla Dome 1, Lemmy's Castle, Chocolate Island 3, Ghost Ship, and Funky. And there were some more map changes, and since this was another Mario World entry, everything was obviously different from the predecessor, and the story was different and all of that. But still, again, a pretty similar Mario game to its predecessor. Next game on the list is Super Mario 64. This game was absolutely amazing and groundbreaking, as it was the first all 3D Mario game, which released on the Nintendo 64, hence Super Mario 64, the name of the game. There were so many improvements in this game, the biggest one being that it was all in 3D and was no longer confined to the chains of pixelation. So basically, Super Mario 64 had another story, which I won't get into to spoil it because this is a game I would definitely recommend that you play. But yeah, I mean, the most notable change was the graphics, and this game was absolutely amazing, and the map was also gigantic compared to the other entries in the Mario series. Next on the list is Super Mario Sunshine, which released on the Nintendo GameCube, which is sadly one of Nintendo's most poorly done consoles, if you will. But basically, what was different about Super Mario Sunshine from Super Mario 64 was, again, the 3D improvements. The GameCube, just because it kind of flopped a little bit, doesn't mean that it wasn't an amazing console. It absolutely had much better graphics, and everything was better about that. And then the storyline. The story is a little bit more elaborate. Mario is framed for vandalism, and the villainous Shadow Mario appears. Additionally, Bowser Jr. makes his debut, believing Peach is his mother and Mario is the antagonist. And also, there was much better music, much better gameplay mechanics, and the level design was much more different. Many more boss battles as well, and the difficulty was much more challenging than Super Mario 64, which makes this game absolutely amazing. Next game on the list is New Super Mario Bros. DS. This game was another absolutely amazing game. Pretty much every Mario game is amazing. I feel like I'm just kind of repeating myself at that point. But basically, this game was released on the Nintendo DS, which was a handheld, and it was entirely new for the time. It had 2 screens and everything, so this game got to take advantage of that. And the gameplay highlights were solo story mode, where you could play as either Mario or Luigi. This game also had a mini-game mode, where you could gather up to 4 players for some fun mini-games. And it had more moves from Mario 64, and a bunch of new additions, such as new fresh enemies, bosses, and more obstacles. Many more levels and worlds were added to this game, and again, this was an entirely new Mario game, so yeah. But this was the first handheld Mario entry in kind of a long time from Nintendo, actually. So this was an absolutely amazing game. Now the list is getting really good. I guess I should have said that at Super Mario 64. But here comes the Wii with Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy was another great game in the Mario series. It had gravity-defying gameplay, which basically means that Mario was traveling around without gravity, hence Super Mario Galaxy. That's why it was called that. One of the reasons, at least. And it had much better music and much better soundtrack and everything. The camera controls were improved, and they could adjust the camera using the D-pad, and it also had much better graphical enhancements, which came along since it released on the Wii. And this game was another just absolutely amazing game. Next in line is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. This game wasn't exactly like Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii, where you were traveling around kind of like in Mario 64, where it's all open world and everything. It was more one of the more traditional Mario games, where it was like a side-scroller, platformer, yet again. And Nintendo hadn't made one of these in quite a long time, so it was kind of trying to bring back the platformer and side-scroller kind of thing. And Nintendo still does a little bit of both today, actually, which we'll get into. But basically, Super Mario Bros. Wii brought multiplayer mode where you could play with up to 4 players. It brought new power-ups, the Ice Flower, Penguin Suit, and Propeller Suit. It had a Super Guide mode, which basically you could have help if you were struggling with levels, and it had many more levels and enemies as always, and it was the first 2D platformer on a home console in years, as I've already said. So yeah. Next on the list is Super Mario Galaxy 2, again releasing on the Wii. Some of its notable improvements include dynamic environments like a cosmic kaleidoscope. Super Mario Galaxy 2 introduced dynamic, ever-changing environments. Each galaxy sparkled with surprises, from gravity-defying twists to shifting landscapes. And that was one improvement, and another one is the new power-ups. There was the spin drill, the cloud flower, the rock mushroom, and many more. Yoshi's Cosmic Ride was another improvement. The green dinosaur Yoshi hitched a ride on Mario's interstellar journey. Yoshi's tongue lashed out like a comet tail, eating up enemies and items. And cosmic challenges were another improvement. So Super Mario Galaxy 2 basically had a lot of these galactic challenges where you had to collect green stars, and that was a big part of the game that you could do, I guess. And the soundtrack was, again, a lot better. So, Super Mario Galaxy 2, another great game and a great sequel to the original. We are almost to the present in the Super Mario chronological order of games, but next on the list is Super Mario 3D Land, which released on the Nintendo 3DS in 2011, and If you don't know, the 3DS was the successor to the Nintendo DS, and it had a lot of models, but anyway, I've talked a lot about that on my channel. Anyway, let's get to Super Mario 3D Land. So, Super Mario 3D Land had hybrid gameplay. Basically, it was a mix between a 2D Mario platformer and a 3D open world Mario game like Mario 64. Another thing to note about this game was that basically it was marking the transition to 3D on all consoles, including handhelds. So, after the iconic Super Mario 64, the series ventured into 3D gameplay. However, it wasn't until Super Mario 3D Land that we saw a 3D Mario Adventures designed specifically for a handheld console, which was absolutely amazing. And some other features in this game included Super Leaves, it had all the returning enemies, it had a remix soundtrack, unique level design where each level felt like a bite-sized adventure, perfect for on-the-go gaming on your 3DS. And yeah, so this game was yet another heavy hitter, and it was amazing. The next game on the list is New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the Nintendo 3DS. This game was another pretty good game. It wasn't as good as the ones before it, because of its coin collecting mania and a few other reasons I'll go into, but the coin collecting thing was basically where the central point of the game was to get as many coins as you could, because everything was dropping coins, and that meant that you would rack up a bunch of lives. And yeah, so that meant that you had insane extra lives, which meant that the game wasn't too much of a challenge, but however, it did have a lot of deja vu, and if you've played previous Mario titles, you would definitely experience this, and this Mario title doesn't bring too much new to the table, but it was still pretty good. Next game on the list is New Super Mario Bros. U for the Nintendo Wii U. Now, this game was bound to not do as well because the Nintendo Wii U was one of Nintendo's biggest flops, and this game was still really fun though. Even if the Wii U was a flop, it was still very fun. But this game was one of the best-selling games, I should say, on the Nintendo Wii U, selling 4.16 million copies worldwide, and it had Miiverse functionality, which was a thing for the Wii U. It had in-game posts as well, which was pretty cool. Some gameplay features were background styles and models. The game used new, more detailed background styles and models compared to previous titles. It had a flying squirrel power-up, and the Wii U gamepad was also highly integrated in this game, which was pretty cool in my opinion, but some people may disagree. Anyways, this game was still really good, but since it was on the Wii U, it didn't do as well. The next game I have for you guys is Super Mario 3D World, which was again released on the Nintendo Wii U, which again was a flop, but this game was also remade with Bowser's Fury on the Nintendo Switch. So some of its notable features were, since it was the sequel to Super Mario 3D Land for the Nintendo 3DS, it again had linear 3D platforming, it had more power-ups and abilities, which was one of which was the Super Bell. It had lots of multiplayer fun as well, where you could gather with your friends and family for some cooperative or competitive play, and that was pretty much it. It was just the sequel to the Nintendo 3DS version of the game, or Super Mario 3D Land, I should say. We are nearing the end of the video, and the next game I have for you guys is Super Mario Maker from the Nintendo Wii U. This game was another amazing game, and it was a completely new twist on Mario. Basically, this game did not have a set story or anything, but you could basically create whatever the heck you wanted out of all of the Mario things that were in the game. Basically, you could create whatever the heck level you wanted, and you could even create whole worlds. You could make your whole Mario story just the way you wanted to. And that was what made that game so special. We now come to the second to last game I'm going to talk about on this list. Super Mario Odyssey. This game was absolutely phenomenal. This game was on the Nintendo Switch and it released in 2017 as a launch title. And I've played this game myself. It's just amazing. You have to go play it. Some of the this was a 3D Mario game, and it was all open world, and there was just so much that a player can do, and it is just phenomenal. This game has so much content, so much packed into it. There was so many improvements. Like, it's just amazing. I'm gonna have to let you guys go play it, and I'm not gonna give any spoilers to the story or anything, but this game was amazing, and the graphics are the best graphics yet in a Mario game as well. We now come to the very last game I'm going to talk about on the list, and this is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. We definitely shouldn't forget about this one because this game came out just last year, and it is absolutely amazing. One of the best ever. Not probably as good as Mario Odyssey, but it's still really good, especially since it came out in 2023, almost, 6 years after the Switch's launch. But this game had much improved graphics, many more items, and I've played the entire game myself. It wasn't exactly the hardest game I should say, but it definitely had its degree of difficulty, just not as much as other Mario games. It was honestly pretty easy, but yeah, this game was amazing, and I'm not going to spoil the story or anything, as I always don't spoil the story, but this game was awesome, and it just had so much content, and I beat it in a little over a month or two of playing here and there, so yeah, but this game was amazing. Alrighty guys, that is gonna do it for this video. I really thank those of you who watched till the very end, because this video took me a very long time to make, covering all of the Mario games, well, at least the mainline ones, but thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, comment down below what you thought, and tell me also if you want me to do the next video, which would be on Zelda, and it would be covering all of the mainline Zelda games. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.